If you've ever wondered how beautiful stained glass windows are made, today we're going to show you all the tools that you need to get started. The first thing you're going to need to make leaded glass windows is a glass cutter. So I would recommend that you buy a Toya glass cutter. They're really the best ones on the market. There's lots of cheap ones available, but they're really not that good. And the Toya ones have got a hollow handle and you can fill that with oil. But I would recommend that you don't actually fill it with oil, because sometimes the oil leaks and it goes all over your drawing and all over your design. So it's actually better to use a different system, which is basically a little pot with some cotton wool in the bottom, and put a little bit of WD-40 or machine sewing oil, something like that, a really light grade oil, and you can dip your glass cutter into that, and it works really well. So a glass cutter is one of the first things you need. Buy well, and you only need to buy once, is my motto really. The second thing you'll need is a lead knife. Now there are lots of different types of lead knives available. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but basically I recommend a couple. You can either make your own from something like a metal scraper. That's what I do. I take a metal scraper, which is like a flat bladed knife, and I sharpen it on a grinding stone, and I just kind of work at it until it's really sharp. And that's my preferred type of lead knife. But you can buy commercially available lead knives as well, which are absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to leave links at the end of this video to where you can buy different types of lead knives. You'll also need some grozing pliers. Now grozing pliers, the term to groze glass just basically means to nibble the edges of the glass. If you've got a cut which has got a few lumpy bits and you want to get rid of them, you can use grozing pliers, and they simply nibble the edge of the glass and make it into a nice shape. Did you know in the medieval period, before glass cutters that we currently use were invented, they used to use a hot poker called a dividing iron, and basically that was heated up in a fire in the studio and then applied to the glass, and the thermal shock of applying a hot poker to glass would fracture the glass. That's how they did it in medieval times. And then they'd use their grozing pliers to cut curves. You can just nibble the edges and cut curves. Nowadays we use commercially available glass pliers, which are much easier than trying to heat up a hot poker every time. Good girl. I remember coming here years ago in the snow. I wonder if I've still got the video of that to show you. But the trees were a lot smaller, and the dog was a lot younger. So was I, by the way. You'll also need some breaking pliers. Now breaking pliers are specifically designed for breaking glass. They're really useful. And again, I will leave links in the description below to where you can buy some breaking pliers, because they really help you to break glass easily and safely if you've never really done it before. If you really want to push the boat out when you're learning your new skills of making leaded glass windows, you could also buy a glass grinder. Again, it's not essential. Grozing pliers work just as well. But glass grinders are something which are really useful, especially if you're doing copper foil work and things like that. You need to get a nice smooth flat edge to your glass. A grinder is really good. And also, if you've really cut the glass just a little bit oversized, a grinder is a really good way of reducing the size of the glass. So there are again a variety of different types of glass grinders available, but they all work on the same principle. It's just a spinning axis with a little bit at the end which has got an abrasive surface that's usually there's a little bit of water that's applied to that as well, and a sponge to keep the dust down. Again, think about your own health and your own safety when you're working with glass and lead, and wear a mask and wear gloves really pretty much all the time when you're making windows, especially when you're doing grinding and things like that, because you don't want to be breathing in any of those harmful little particulates, because they build up over time. You'll also need a tool for opening up the heart of the lead. Lead is quite soft. It's quite a soft material, and it does crush, and especially when you're learning stained glass to start with, you're going to crush the lead from time to time. So you need a little device that'll help you open up the heart of the lead, because the lead is actually H section, and it does crush. So an oyster knife is one of the things that you might want to buy. It's a traditional oyster knife used for opening oysters, but actually they're quite hard to come by. So you can make your own oyster knife from a wide, flat-headed screwdriver. If you stick a screwdriver, which has got a quite a wide head on it, and flatten it down so that it's not sharp and it's not harsh, it's got soft edges, that works just as well as an oyster knife. You'll also need what's called a fid or a lathican. Now what is that? It's just a simple little tool, again, for opening up the hearts of the lead, but you can run the lathican down the heart of the lead and it helps to open it up. That's another not expensive little bit of kit. Again, the next piece of kit you'll need is a soldering iron. Now there are lots of different makes and types of soldering irons available on the market, and I've made videos comparing a couple of the best soldering irons that I think are on the market at the moment, Weller and Hako. Both of them, I'll leave links at the end of this video where you can purchase them. They're great little electric soldering irons. Now, you'll need at least a 100-watt soldering iron. Don't go for the 80-watt. And if you can get a thermostat or a controllable iron where you can raise or lower the temperature, it's really helpful. It's not essential, but it's really helpful because you sometimes want to reduce the temperature if you're finding you're burning the lead and the lead starts to melt. You don't really want to do that, but a 100-watt electric soldering iron is really ideal. You'll also want to buy some solder. Now, there are different types of solder on the market. You might get confused by all the various types of solder that's available, but you want to buy what's called a blowpipe solder. That's an alloy. It's basically a lead tin combination. Now you get them in 60-40, 60% tin, 40% lead, or 50-50, which is 50% tin and 50% lead. They all have different melting points. I would recommend that you go for 60-40. It's just a nice sort of soft solder that has a nice melting temperature if you're using an electric soldering iron. Go for a 100-watt soldering iron, as I say, and a 60-40 lead tin combination solder will be absolutely ideal for you. In order to make the lead and the solder stick together, you will need flux. Now there's different types of flux. What is flux? Well, flux basically is the go-between material that allows solder to stick to the lead came. If you just try and stick solder directly to the lead came, it doesn't really stick very well. You need to put a flux. Now there are a couple of different types of flux. There's an acid-based flux, which is like a paste, and you can brush it on with a brush. You've got to wear a mask, especially when you're soldering, because you don't want to take in any of the fumes that you get from the flux. There's another type of flux called tallow candle, and that's a more organic flux. That's made from sheep fat, believe it or not, and it comes in sort of candle form. And if you can get hold of tallow candle, that really is the best method, I think. But a paste flux works just as well. You'll also need some kind of extraction. Now you can buy little extraction fans that are almost like little computer fans that you get in the back of PCs that extract the fumes away. But the best thing really is to wear a mask. You want to wear a P3 mask, which is a particulate mask, a mask for stopping small particles of dust and lead fumes, which is basically little particles of lead from breathing in. So wear a mask and have a little extraction unit if you can. You'll also need some nails. Now, traditionally here in the UK we use farrier's nails, which are basically for shoeing horses. But it's just a flat nail with a head on it that you can use to tap your leaded glass window together and hold it together when you're putting it together. You'll also need a hammer for hammering your nails in. Just a simple small hammer is ideal. I usually use a wooden handle hammer because you can actually use the wooden end of the hammer to tap the glass together. If you're feeling adventurous, you can also buy a glass hammer. That sounds like a comedy item, a glass hammer, but it's a real thing. It's basically like a neoprene rubber ended hammer that is very soft, and you actually can use that to tap the glass into place if the glass needs to just be nudged into place a little bit. A glass hammer is an ideal piece of kit as well. As far as equipment is concerned, you're going to need a table with a soft top to it. so that you can bang your nails in and lift the nails back out. A composite table made of ply board is okay, but it's a little bit tough to pull nails out of. You want some kind of soft wood surface to be able to knock the nails in and to take them back out. Jura! Jura! Here she comes. Come on! Come here! Come here! You lovely doggy, eh? We've had her since she was a little pup. Come here, darling. Come here. Hello, beautiful. Hello, angel. Oh, come on, this way. Come on. Jura, come on. She's getting a little bit blind, a little bit deaf, but she's still an active dog. Absolutely wonderful. Great companion. Okay, where were we? Yeah. You need a table. It doesn't need to be a big table. It can be, I mean, don't use a kitchen table, obviously, because of the harmful effects of working with lead and things like this. You should have a separate studio area, a little corner of a room somewhere where you can make your leaded glass windows. Please don't make them in the same place that you're eating food and things like this. You just need to be aware of health and safety and take good care. As well as a table and nails, you'll need some battens of wood, some long pieces of wood, which will help you to square your leaded glass panel. If you're making a rectangular panel, the wood really helps to kind of keep the outside edges of the lead nice and flat so they don't get crushed. It's also helpful to have a light table. Now, light tables have come down in price tremendously over the years, and you can buy a little LED light table now, an A4 or an A3 light table off of Amazon, really for a few pounds or a few dollars. I mean, it's like £45 here in the UK. And again, I will leave links at the end of this video to where you can buy these LED light boxes. They're absolutely fantastic, and you can vary the strength of the light, and it's in a lovely white light. So if you then want to photograph your leaded glass windows afterwards, using an LED light table is a great way to do it, because you get beautiful white light as a result. Using natural light is really the best way of looking at stained glass, because natural light, sunlight, is the most complicated light. What I mean by that? Well, basically it's got all the colours of the rainbow inside that lovely white light, and it really does give you the best subtle effects. If you're using artificial light, it's a pared down light, it's a flat light, it doesn't really let the glass shine and sparkle. And if you're photographing your leaded glass window creations, photographing them in natural light really allows that glass to sparkle. But having a light box or a little LED light pad is really ideal if you just want a nice simple way of photographing your work, especially if you're going to put it up on social media and you want it to all look the same and have the same light values. An LED light pad is ideal for that. Now, the other things that you're going to need for making leaded glass windows is lead. Basically, lead comes in long strips, long pieces of string. They're basically looks like an H if you cut it in cross section, like a capital H, and they're called lead cames. They come in different sizes and different thicknesses, and again, I will leave links in the description below to where you can buy lead came. But the best thing, if you're watching from outside the UK, is to try to Google where you can find suppliers for lead came and also for glass. Glass is the other thing you need. There is a tremendous array of really exciting glass types available. And again, whichever country you're watching this video in, have a little Google and find out where your nearest leaded glass window stockist or supplier is for buying coloured glass. You will also need patterns. Now, there are some tremendous pattern books available, again, online on Amazon, for simple patterns. If you're starting out for the first time and you want to just make a flower or make a simple boat or some kind of geometric pattern, there's lots of available patterns on the internet that you can download, or you can buy little books, or you can design your own. If you're feeling adventurous, design your own simple pattern. And now that you've got your tools, now that you've got your equipment, have a look at this video now to show you actually how to make a leaded glass window. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, leave comments and suggestions for future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.